I'm at the March for Life in DC, and usually Patriot Front just runs in and out of things. They're just chilling here.
They're literally just handing out flyers to folks.
Yeah, like, and the people at this march are totally fine.
No one is fazed.
No one is fazed by Patriot Front being here. Normally Patriot Front marches and then they...
Okay, it's unacceptable that Walter literally went to the March for Life rally with a woman, especially to ask them if they fuck. This is BM. Bad manners. You're flexing. You're flexing that you are capable of being around a woman. This is completely unacceptable. I understand why these people feel a certain type of way. It's messed up. Not everyone has the capacity to talk to women and maybe even physically be around them without immediately repulsing said woman. Showing that off is basically a flex, and not even a subtle one, and totally messed up in my opinion. How much start moving after getting in a relationship? He's mocking them.
Now they're not dipping anymore. They're just like, they're comfy. I can't get over this. Patriot Front's just hanging out. What's it like being an incel?
I'm married with children, so it doesn't apply.
You can...
Dude, there is... Okay, I'm sorry. This is the one thing that I agree with the right wing on broadly, is that these guys are federal agents. That's it. I'm sorry. Like, the Patriot Front, obviously a lot of these like very organized neo-Nazi militias have infiltrators from federal law enforcement in general, but Patriot Front is not, in my opinion, is not even an infiltration of federal law enforcement. I feel like it's just law enforcement, and not even like local law enforcement. I'm talking federal agents, okay? Because they are in far too good of a shape across the board for them to be even any other kind of law enforcement. Infiltrators, they are there voluntarily. No, that's what I just think that it's just entirely comprised of federal agents.
What's it like being an incel?
No comment.
No comment?
Strong families make strong.
Do you want a statement? Talk to Thomas Rousseau.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just asking what's it like being an
Yeah, this guy 100% is like being groomed right now by a Yale graduate who went to Langley, joined this brigade. Like, this kid is an online groiper being groomed by these federal law enforcement agents. Straight up. Dudes with like, you know, African American studies degrees, right? From Yale University that went in to work for the federal government are just now a part of this group, entirely comprising most of the members of this group. And they, I guess, every now and then bring in like some teenagers to groom them as well.
Don't answer questions, sir. Talk to Thomas Rousseau.
Who are we reclaiming it from?
You.
You? Okay. Defend American labor. That I actually... We want lives of honesty. We are all offered by the politicians, corporations.
Different. They're all different. I want to defend American labor.
If it was just about this, that actually would be fine. Like, we'd be cooking. It's not, it's about much more than this, and that's the problem. What's your body count?
Excuse me?
What's your body count?
I hate that they also utilize like leftist aesthetics, leftist commentary, leftist values, leftist principles, and it's like almost entirely about nationalism. Like, they will not stop at anything. They'll do everything. Like, I mean, this is a classic Nazi shit. There's no other way to look at it than that, right? Classic neo-Nazi behavior, just utilizing the aesthetics of labor populism in an effort to advance your actual agenda, which is to create a white nation. You used to do a really good job at this in your really old videos. What do you mean? Oh, talking about the dangers of white nationalism, the dangers of like white nationalist movements using leftist economic populist sentiment in an effort to draw a larger crowd, and the dangers that liberals... You had interview videos? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about, but like the dangers that liberals create by never really honestly and earnestly engaging with left-wing populist policy in general, and then creating an environment where there is a need for that sort of thing. There's a need for that sort of policy, and there's certainly a need for that sort of policy, and there's certainly a need for that sort of sentiment, because the people want to hear that. And now Nazis are taking up a large share of that market. Tucker Carlson did a pretty good job at that as well. Oh, you meant my IRL protest videos where I would like interview QAnon supporters and stuff? Will you ever do on-site interviews like this again? Yeah. I might even do it in Japan. Hasan got too much clout. I mean, yeah, there is a little bit. That is a little bit of an issue for sure. It also becomes like a larger danger too. The lady posted her stuff here and it's fire.
I figured it's probably been a long.
We'll look at this in a little bit as well.
Are you talking about intercourse?
Yes.
Would you go undercover at a hog rally? I have. One of my best work. One of my best jobs. You should go interview some weird right-wing protests. That might be funny. I really want to do that in Japan. I think I have a better shot at doing stuff like that in Japan, or doing stuff like that in Europe, or doing stuff like that outside of America than I do in America. Most people have no idea who I am out here, even though, as I've mentioned, this time around in Japan, it's turned into Los Angeles levels of getting stopped. Like, I never thought that it would get to this point, but the last 2 times I was here, it was never like this. Like, we would get sporadically stopped for sure. But especially if we go to like tourist dense areas, definitely, it's definitely like mobbing occurs. It's also tourist season too, probably, but it's always tourist season, I feel like, in Japan. Yurahu Megalol in Japan is what I thought I was, and I think I am still for like regular Japanese people. But I never thought that it would get to this degree in even a place like Japan. Have you ever gotten IRL haters? No, never. And I think like even if there was a hater that approaches me IRL, I'm pretty sure they literally act like they're a fan. Like even if a hater approaches me IRL, usually it's just like the one time it happened was at DNC, and that wasn't even an approach, honestly. That was more so just someone in a Discord, someone in Epstein's Discord server, a prominent member of the Diddy G, talking about how he's shaking. Oh my God, I'm shaking. Only to come in and go, Epstein made you, and then run away. It's super, super, super rare. I hope this has been an opportunity for a lot of the fan base, the Epstein fan base, to recognize that maybe they were wrong. If they truly saw the mistreatment of another person within the orbit of Epstein get a bunch of other content creators who were orbiters of Epstein get mistreated so viciously. Perhaps this will be a wake-up call for them to be like, maybe we are operating in a cult-like situation. Nope, they've just doubled down. Yeah, I'm sure the point is doubling down and then trying to turn around and say, no, everyone that's calling us out is wrong. That's usually how it goes. Yeah, if you have Epstein D-writers in your life that you know, reach out to them. Extend a helping hand, walk them through this process. This might be a tumultuous time for them, where they might have reached like a boundary in their own moral systems where they're like, okay, this is a bridge too far for me.
Wife.
Okay.
My wife.
Yeah.
Her.
What's the message?
Strong family, strong nation.
That's it. There's nothing else. If I look up Patriot Front, there's nothing else.
I guess it depends on where you look, sir.
You can check the website out. All the information you need is all on our website.
Absolutely. Yes.
No, I actually looked at that. Honestly, I don't. If it was just that, that would be.
GeoGuessr's been pushed back.
That would be amazing. But I have one of those. I read that. If it was just that, I'd think, okay, we're cooking. Patriot Front's just here with all the other forced birthers. Usually they march really quickly and then dip. They're just hanging out. Trump's the president.
Hiring somebody because they're of a similar race.
I looked at the flyer.
Okay, you got one of the flyers.
I got one of the flyers. The flyer about labor.
Okay.
And
Defend American labor. Yep.
Okay, so we're starting with labor, anti-corporate. You're pro-labor, you're pro-union.
I think it is perfectly acceptable for workers to negotiate collectively.
What do you mean it's perfectly acceptable? It's the only way. What? You can't even one question and you're already taking a weird liberal approach. God damn it, everyone is such a goddamn liberal. It's so annoying.
But at the same time, I don't think the government should be run by unions. I'm not a Marxist. I'm not a communist.
Here's a question. It's a hypothetical scenario.
We love hypotheticals.
Let's say you're on the picket line. You're trying to get a labor contract for your job. You're picketing. Okay?
Yep.
The rest of the employees that you need to join you on the labor line are
black.
trans, LGBTQ.
Not all of it. Oh my God. There's so many diversity points in
LGBTQ,
this
communist. I mean, what? Let's.
So,
I can keep
every
going.
other one of my coworkers is a black, gay, communist.
No, only the ones that want to join you on the picket line.
Only the ones that want to join me on the picket line. Well, I must have done something terribly wrong in that case. See, this situation has already gone wrong. Diversity.
What do you mean? Like, what? Do you think that black people, gay people, trans people are not workers? Like, what the hell? This is why National Socialism, Strasserites, all different all different kinds of like Nazballs or whatever, they are inherently anti-Marxist. Okay, because this is not simply a contradiction that must be addressed, but is completely antithetical to the Marxian perspective. The notion that your identity markers are somehow have a higher degree of importance than your class position is ridiculous. It's pure liberalism. It's pure garbage. It's like it's the same level of like oxymoronic when people claim to be anarcho-capitalist. Like anarchism is about the abolition of unjustifiable hierarchies. Capitalism is built atop an unjustifiable hierarchy. You can't have both at the same time. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make ideological sense at all. Same goes for socialism. You cannot be a socialist while also maintaining the position that like workers of different backgrounds are not real workers or something. Like it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. It's just like pure idealistic nonsense. It's garbage. To me, it's no different than talking about the middle class, which I use, obviously, colloquially, when describing certain things, but it is a way to mystify class politics in general.
It's used to break up the solidarity of workers. Those companies know that diversity is a destabilizing factor.
How is that
to break up the solidarity of the work? Like that's okay. Sure.
a destabilizing factor?
Because again, it's harder for people to unify.
It's harder for them to unify if there's like black people and Asian people that would come on.
Like, do you understand how silly this is? Class politics is all about solidarity and examining the shared interests of every worker. This is just the exact opposite. Claiming that it is divisive to have a black worker work alongside a white worker is just, you're just racist. It has nothing to do with it. It's giving white supremacists. He is a white supremacist. What are you talking about? These guys are openly white supremacist chatters. I'm talking simply about like how even on the aesthetic front, these people that try to maintain the position that they're pro-labor Nazis, it's all purely aesthetic. It's all a marketing tool. At the end of the day, there is no difference between a black laborer on the assembly line or a white one. There is no difference. They are working the same job. They have the same exact class interest. This is at the heart of Marxist politics. This is at the heart of socialist politics. That's straight up the most important, albeit reductive, but the most important principle. Why do you say the term middle class is mystifying? Because it is a tool adopted by liberal capitalist thinkers to move the conversation away from the inherent class dynamic that exists within capitalism. At least like the Marxian interpretation of this class dynamic, the observation that you have capital owners that have an antagonistic need that is directly at odds with the needs of the wage laborers, the proletariat, the working class. Any kind of like adaptation away from that by saying, oh, the middle class, the upper middle class, like is simply moving you away from recognizing that there are two different positions in society. And that's precisely the reason why everyone says they're middle class in America. Have you not noticed? Does it not strike you as odd that every single person claims to be middle class regardless of how much or how little they make? Everyone, they'd rather be wage slaves than drop their prejudice. Kind of sad, but also pathetic. I mean, it is pathetic.
I mean, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
So, okay, so the thesis is segregation.
America was founded as a country by and for a certain group of people that is pertained and designed for that type of people.
But
You can say, oh, but things have changed now and things are different.
Yes.
Yes, things have gotten worse and I want them to get better.
You're saying it's because of diversity.
I've been getting into dumb arguments with liberals about sex workers lately because I've defended the job field. Would you include sex workers in this context? Yes, sex work is still work. All work is coercive under capitalism, and the dynamic of sex in this process makes a lot of people go, oh, well, you can't technically ever do sex work under coercive conditions because all sex work under coercive conditions is rape. That's what they're saying. Meanwhile, sex workers have talked about this quite extensively. Sex workers that I've talked to have written extensively on the subject matter, like the differences between, I mean, sex workers in general are operating on totally different confines. Like they're at the cutting edge of talking about theories surrounding enthusiastic consent, participation, and whatnot. I don't want to really get into it though, because unfortunately, people who are anti-sex work get very upset and they're very loud and they yell at me quite a bit. And I just simply don't want that headache until there's something. Yeah, affirmative consent, enthusiastic consent, and consent in general is something that a lot of sex workers talk about. Of course, when people think about sex work, they think about people who are incredibly poor or people who are homeless, trying to make a living in horrifying conditions. And they point to that to say that the entirety of it must be abolished, and that is the moral thing to do, not recognizing that there absolutely is, even in a communist society, someone could engage in sex work if they chose to do so. It's the notion that like no one that engages in sex work is doing it with their own autonomy is really silly. And talking to any sex worker, it doesn't have to be like, you know, famous porn stars who are super successful or not. You can talk to like strippers and whatnot, and they will very clearly define that this is their own, this is something that they've wanted to do themselves. I'm not in the business of figuring out what kind of like selling your body is appropriate. You know, I think as long as your output is not negative, as long as your job is not harming others, then if you have consented to doing any form of labor, then it's fine. I have no issues with that. You know, it's ridiculous. One of the most like eye-opening conversations I had was with a stripper friend of mine who openly stated like, I got sexually harassed more working at McDonald's than I do at the strip club, because at the strip club I maintain the power over what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And also, if someone harasses me, the bouncers beat the shit out of them. You can say that's a lie, but like that's like, see, this is what I don't understand. I'm against the fully sex workers work. That's a lie. Okay, but I'm talking about the personal experiences of she's lying to herself. See, yeah, exactly. And this is where anti-sex work conversations turn into women do not have the autonomy. So you're saying McDonald's needs bouncers? Yes, that would be sick. It would greatly improve the workplace conditions of the average McDonald's. Yes. Yeah. I think a lot of issues that pertain to harm being done to women in the workplace exist in every sector, and oftentimes is even more invisible in other sectors outside of sex work, and that it is born out of patriarchy rather than the industry itself. And it leads people down these like weird rabbit holes of thought where they just assume like sex work has greatly accelerated violence against women or whatever. The notion that like women were existing in a less violent sphere before the invention of like pornography, you know what I mean? That's a crazy notion. Yeah, women were definitely better off in professional society, let's say 50, 60 years ago. Like, that's ridiculous. The problem is misogyny. The problem is toxic masculinity. The problem is patriarchy, normalizing violence against women in very insidious ways. That's what I think. I can't believe we just started talking about sex work too. Holy shit. All right, let's continue with this.
The conversation has reached its terminus. I need to talk to some other people. You have a wonderful day, sir.
So after 1 to 2 minutes, we've ascertained that this is bullshit. They don't want to defend American labor. They stand for segregation. Really quick, I forgot to ask you, what is it like being an incel and a virgin?
I wouldn't know.
What's your body count?
I'm not here to discuss personal matters of my life. I think that's irrelevant.
So 0.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to make assumptions about my personal life, I think this is strange.
I mean, you're You're wearing a Patriot Front outfit, so.
I've been to other pro-life marches where you and I have spoke, so I know you're here a lot, right? Obviously, you and I don't agree on anything, but
white supremacy is bad. This idea that we can, on the National Mall, see the fascist symbol on the American.
Are these all TikTokers that went to a Patriot Front rally? What's happening? Those are other TikTokers, right? Aren't these TikTokers? Damn, these guys are crazy. They're going wild mode.
National Mall, see the fascist symbol on the American flag over here. And then you look down there and you see the guys in the red hats, and then you realize, oh my God, it's the same people. That's it.
So being a guy who comes to pro-life marches all the time, how do you feel about them being at your march?
I don't think we should welcome fascism into a modern American society, and I think it speaks a lot about the motives of the people at the top of this movement, who would rather, be comfortable with their big billionaire donors from the Republican Party than stand up for the truth. So, as someone who comes at this from the left, I can only say that this is one of the most disgraceful things I've ever seen, and the fact that there's so many of them also should tell you something as well. I'm out here in DC a lot. I organize also for Palestine. We never deal with this kind of thing except when the MAGA people are here. This is not an issue. DC is a completely blue city, 92%.
Until it's a MAGA march or pro-life march.
Until this past week,
Actually, I think this is the first pro-life march personally I've seen them at.
The connection between over there and over here, don't miss it, because it's there. You have people like Seth Gruber, who looked me dead in the face and said, "You are a parasite to the movement." Same guy. He's now speaking down here saying that women should be killed for having abortions. And I think that's absolutely shameful.
Let's see what she did at the same march, by the way. And then I'm going to get to Colombia in a second.
Long time since you talked to a woman, so here I am.
Thank y'all for being here.
I just figured it's probably been a while since you talked to a woman, so here I am.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I know it's probably been a while since you talked to a woman, so I thought I would treat you. How many of these can I have?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I love watching this juxtaposition in real time between the way they react to her and the way they react to Walter. This 1 minute video after watching Walter's video proves the point that he was making. That is crazy. Oh my God. These guys are literally like, they're flustered, dude. They're like, would you like to join the white nationalist workers move? Oh, God damn. Y'all make fun of me, say 127, but these dudes are not maintaining eye contact at all, dude. That is crazy. Also, yesterday's stream also proved that I do maintain eye contact, good eye contact.
I think 2 is good, probably.
Could I have 3? Three's lucky.
They cost money to make.
Right. Giving out free flyers, that's socialism.
Yep.
No, that's kind of creepy.
Is it? Wait. Is it kind of creepy? The Patriot Front's here. It's just weird.
It is weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
I know who they are. They're white supremacists. Yeah, that's weird, right? Guys, can we agree that it's weird that Patriot Front is here?
That's weird. They represent themselves, and that's not okay in America in this day and age.
Can we agree that Patriot Front being here is weird?
Yeah.
So where are you guys from?
Denmark.
What do you guys think about these guys? Are you familiar with Patriot Front at all?
No. We are not familiar with those, but as a European, it smells a little bit too much like Germany in the 40s.
Yup, you're right.